impacted me in
Okay, so Erica, how has dance changed your life, and how has it impacted you as a person?
Well, dance has definitely like affected my life and like who I am in a lot of different ways. But I guess to kind of just like get a better perspective on it, you have to like understand like what kind of dance I did and like how much of it I did and like how it affected my childhood.
Okay. So, give me like how many days a week, how many years, how many hours a week you've, just give us like a picture of what your weekly routine would be.
So basically, like since I was like 3, I've been dancing, but like I guess like for real, like probably when I was like 6 or 7 and like starts getting like actual dance.
Okay.
I was dancing 5 days a week. Probably during the school week for about 7 hours, and on the weekends like 10.
That's incredible.
Yeah, so that was more like throughout like high school and like late middle school. When I was younger, it was just during the week, kind of just for fun. But then it got a lot more serious, and it took up a lot more of my time.
A lot of people compare dancing and like different like arts like that to like gymnastics, and how like the rigor of it and how hard it is on a young individual who tries it for the first time, and all the different techniques and like strokes or whatever you need to learn to be decent. Like, would you consider it similar?
Yeah, definitely. Just because like there's like a lot of different parts about dance that were like hard, not just like physically, but like also it's like very like mental and like emotional. Just like being surrounded by so many. Like I know dance doesn't seem like the most competitive thing in the world, but like when you're in like a pre-professional program where like people want to be professional dancers, it is very competitive, and like it's more than just the physical.
Right. So give me some insight on how dancing had a negative impact, or could have had a negative impact on someone who was part of such a rigorous environment.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of think like with anything that like requires so much training, and I guess it's kind of true for like sports too, but maybe it's dance in particular. That I've watched a lot of people like break, like they would go to a 5-week summer intensive where they would dance all day every day, and they'd come back and like not only would they just be tired and just like exhausted and like kind of grow a hatred for dance, but they would just be done like over it, because I think like when you dedicate so much of your time to something and become so invested in it, the second you even have a slightest like doubt or like don't love it anymore, like you kind of do. I mean, the only way to describe it is break. You just kind of like it. I've watched so many people be like, I just can't do it anymore, and go from dancing 20 hours a week to just not dancing at all.
Right.
And I think it's just because it's an environment of push, 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 see how far you can go, and sometimes you just take it over the edge and like.
Right.
And then also physically, I've seen horrible things happen to people, not just in terms of really weird injuries and surgeries and stuff like that, but also just like the effect of staring at yourself in a mirror.
Yeah.
For 8-hour rehearsals in tights and a leotard, basically
naked, seeing everything, every imperfection.
You see every bump and bruise and part that you're not okay with, but also your teachers see it and they care, which is something that's different than in a lot of other places. I mean, like, you go to an audition, and as horrible as it sounds, like, they care what your body looks like, and like, the skinny girl will probably get the part or the place in the program before somebody who's not will. So it does matter, and it definitely messes with your head. I mean,
different.
Yeah.
So let's talk about the disciplinary part of it. So would you say that now, coming from your background of dancing, being a very strict environment, having to, do these moves perfectly, and you would be judged or critiqued on that, do you think that's translated to your everyday life now? Like, you feel pressure for yourself to do things better in your discipline doing that because of dance?
Yeah, I think that there's a lot of, like, things about dance that stick with you, even, like, now. Like, I'm not dancing this year, but so much of my training and my childhood was dancing.
Right.
So things particularly, not just, like, I wouldn't say the pressure, because I think
Okay.
that I always have coped well with the pressure in that environment in a way that a lot of other people didn't. But I think just, like, listening to people who have a lot of experience and wisdom, like, that for me was huge. Like, I think I have really acquired a skill to, like, take what adults and, like, people who've been through situations have gone through and, like, learn from it, because that's all I did from when I was young. I mean, we literally would sit and watch videos of, like, our teacher when she was 20 years old dancing with a company. Like, that's how we learned, was through watching her. And, like, through her experiences and how she got to where she was. So I think a lot of that stuck with me. And also definitely, like, the concept of having control of your own body, but extended to a more, like, I guess, like, holistic approach to, like, how I live my life. Like, I think that if dance teaches you that, like, if you need to make a change here, you need to do it yourself. And I think that that's kind of something that I apply in a lot of other ways in my life. Like, if I need to, I know that I have a lot of control over my own choices, my own abilities, and, like, dance shows you how far you can push your own boundaries in your own body, and I think that that's something that has stuck with me beyond just the dance world.
Yeah. Cool. Have you ever been almost to that point of breaking? Have you ever, like, questioned it and wanting to go back? Do you ever regret anything from dancing?
I think that I kind of did break, and that's why I'm not dancing this year. Not to say that I didn't have, like, 15 great years of dancing. Like, I would have never changed that for anything. But it kind of got to, there comes a point, I would say around, like, junior year, where you basically have to decide at, like, 16, which is really early, whether it's a life that you're going to pursue and it's going to be a career, or it's something that you've just done all these years for fun. And the thing is, like, when you make that decision, which I made, and I decided I wasn't going to be a professional dancer, it is giving away so much of your life that it's not worth it if you're not going to make a career out of it. So I woke up one morning and I was like,
that's it.
I'm not going to be a professional dancer. And if I'm not going to be a professional dancer, I need to figure out what I am going to be, and I can't do that if I'm spending 25 hours a week in a dance studio.
Was that hard for you?
Absolutely. I mean, it was all I've ever known, and that was really my main that was my thing.
That's the dancer.
And it wasn't even hard for me so much as to not be in the studio dancing, because I've had the opportunity to do so many new, different things that I've been enjoying so much more this year because I'm not dancing. But at the same time, it was also hard because people looked at me and they were like, oh, Erica, the dancer. So being like, hey,
it's almost losing
I'm not
a part of your
dancing
identity.
anymore. Yes, and it was like, it was harder for me with talking about it with other people.
It's them.
But I don't think people necessarily see the side of it that's, like, the 8-hour-long rehearsals on a Saturday night where all of your friends are out doing fun things, like, and you're in a studio. Until 9:30 on a Saturday night. Or, like, you're spending so much time there on a Sunday that you don't have time to study for your midterms, or you're there during the week so you can't join the club that you really want to. You know what I mean? It was just so many missed opportunities that I had my first 3 years of high school that I knew I wasn't going to do this as a profession. So I decided I was going to stop end of junior year so I could at least have my senior year to attempt to make up kind of for everything I missed out on. I've gotten the chance to do so many more different things this year than I ever have in the past. And I kind of just have gotten to, like, try things, which I never used to do. It's like, do something and you're going to do it for, like, a while. That's what I did with dance. Like, I did it starting when I was 5 and did it my whole life. And this year I get to try things. Like, oh, I'll go try this, and if I don't like it, who cares? Like, you know what I mean? And that's something I never got to do as a kid. Like, I never got to play around. I never even played a sport. Like, I never even got to, like, you know how everyone's like, oh, they tried soccer, they tried this, they tried that, and then you pick? I didn't even go through that. Like, it was dance and it was dance my whole life.
Do you ever wish that you maybe didn't do dance and maybe had the opportunity to try soccer, try cross country, try basketball, volleyball?
I don't wish that I didn't do dance, but I wish that I would have realized
earlier,
sooner that it wasn't something I wanted to spend the rest of my life doing.
You didn't love it.
Exactly.
What if?
No, it was terrifying. It was absolutely terrifying to do. And I sat. It's like midsummer, and I was like, I used to dance Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Saturday, Sunday. So then I was like, I'm not going to be dancing Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Saturday, Sunday.
So
what
are you
am
gonna
I
be doing?
going
Yeah.
to be doing?
I definitely have a lot of respect for you, hearing your whole story and, how hard you individually worked to get to where you were and how it's changed you as a person. So thank you.
Of course.